I am David Feldman, and this is the mop-up for April 25th, 2023. Wow. Tucker Carlson, promoter of the Great Replacement Theory, has been replaced. Yes, Tucker Swanson Carlson, the heir to the frozen TV dinner fortune, is now cooked. Fox News announced it is, quote, parting ways with Tucker Carlson. Actually, first it parted ways with $750 million, and then it parted ways with Tucker Carlson because it didn't want to part ways with another $750 million. It's a sad, sad day for right-wing media. Lying is no longer as inexpensive as it used to be. I guess Fox News is right. Inflation really is out of control. The cost of lying is exorbitant suddenly. Thanks a lot, Joe Biden. Tucker's final show was Friday, and he had no clue. But then again, when has he ever? You know the saddest part about Tucker Carlson being fired? He still got his health. Rupert Murdoch was brutal. He sacked Tucker on Monday with absolutely no warning, not even a call or I'm sorry. Even Jerry Hall got an email. Murdoch just cut Tucker completely out of his life. So I guess it's true what they say. Tucker really is like a son to him. Friday was his last show, but Fox didn't even give Tucker a chance to offer his audience a heartfelt goodbye. A heartfelt goodbye. I feel sorry for Tucker Carlson's fans. This is the worst thing to happen to them since Congress passed the Civil Rights Acts of '64 and '65. What are Tucker's viewers going to watch now? Certainly not their diet or their grandkids, because all of those flatulent losers are forbidden from being around children. It's chaos over at Fox. Nobody has been named as Tucker's official replacement, but right now it looks like a toss-up between Jesse Watters and video of a burning cross. As for Tucker, don't worry. The offers are pouring in. I'm not making this up. Russian television just said he could have a job over there, which is somewhat surprising since I thought Tucker already worked for Russian television. Yeah, don't worry about Tucker Carlson. He's got plenty of money for retirement. And you know why Tucker Carlson has plenty of money for retirement? Because he never watched the commercials on his show for reverse mortgages and gold in your IRA. So he's got plenty of money left in his retirement to pursue his passions. Yes, Tucker Carlson is now free to pursue his passions like fly fishing in Montana and blowing up black churches in the South. Grueling 7 days for Fox. What a grueling week for Fox. They settled with Dominion. Even worse for Fox News, America's unemployment rate is down to 3.5%. Biden's presided over 27 straight months of job growth. I'm surprised with news like that, Fox can even get out of bed in the morning. They fired Dan Bongino last week, Tucker this week. They're firing more next week. Honestly, I can't tell if Murdoch is letting people go because of the Dominion lawsuit or he's just trying to destroy Biden's job numbers. Who's getting fired next? For the first time in their lives, people over at Fox are more afraid of losing their jobs than they are of strong, opinionated black women. Luckily, Sean Hannity doesn't have to worry about ending up on the chopping block. With that cement head of his, Fox is going to need a jackhammer. No chopping block for Sean Hannity. They're going to need a jackhammer. And of course, plenty of lawsuits against Fox over the horizon. Tucker's getting sued by the woman who booked his show. She's accusing him of racism, misogyny, homophobia, and anti-Semitism. Shocking. Who could have ever imagined, other than anyone who actually watched his show? You know, I'm pretty certain racism, misogyny, homophobia, and anti-Semitism are the words underneath Tucker Carlson's family crest. So let me get this lawsuit straight. The woman who booked guests for Tucker Carlson woke up one morning and suddenly realized that Tucker Carlson hates blacks, women, Jews, and members of the LGBTQ community. She just woke up one day and realized. I wonder where she would get an idea like that. Maybe it was from the job application that she had to fill out that specifically said no blacks, women, Jews, or member of the LGBT community. I wonder if that was the clue. Or maybe when Tucker kept saying, "Book Kyle Rittenhouse on my show again." How could she not know the man who spent a week with Viktor Orban in Hungary hated minorities? Who did this booker think she was working for? Rachel Maddow? She was working for Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson was the second most racist show in the history of television, right behind Thursday Night Baseball. Dear Lord, I hope, I pray that firing Tucker Carlson hurts him. I really do. I hope he's hurting right now, but I doubt it. Tucker Carlson is so dead inside, I don't think anything affects him. I doubt Tucker's even embarrassed by all this. If his own show couldn't humiliate him, how could getting fired? He lacks the shame gene. He lacks the shame gene, and it's too bad. But it's precisely why monsters like Tucker Carlson, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Donald Trump are so indestructible. They've already been destroyed. There's nothing you can do to them that hasn't already been done to them by their mothers. A year ago, the New York Times reported Tucker's mother left him when he was 8. Tucker Carlson was only 8, and already he was able to get his mother to hate him at the age of 8, and he never saw her again. At the age of 8, he was already creeping out his own mother. Tucker Carlson was a child prodigy. By 10, he was considered the Mozart of a-holes. Tragically, Tucker Carlson's real victims can't sue. Those would be the unarmed black men and transgender women whose lives have been destroyed or ended because Tucker every night gave license to their oppressors. This is the same Tucker Carlson who I saw with my very own eyes try to convince viewers that Derek Chauvin's life was in danger before he killed George Floyd. Yes, it's too bad the transgender children and drag queens who fear for their lives each day can't sue Tucker for giving the worst of the worst license to commit acts of physical and emotional violence. No, they can't collect damages from our civil courts because in America, only big corporations get to sue other big corporations. Dominion gets the money, not the gay bars that are shot up or the families of transgender children who commit suicide because of venomous bullies like Tucker Carlson on Fox News. Even worse, Fox News can write that $750 million settlement with Dominion off on their taxes, which is great news for Rupert Murdoch, Fox News, and its shareholders, if and when those racist, rapacious, America-hating pigs ever get around to paying their taxes. Now, Carlson was one of the most watched hosts, not just on Fox, but on all of cable. But he never cultivated an audience so much as he did an angry mob who skew old, stupid, and paranoid. Not the key demo advertisers are looking for. And yet tonight, the New York Times reports that Tucker Carlson brought in $77 million a year in advertising revenue. I don't believe it. I want to see the books. I think he was secretly funded by the Koch brothers, by Exxon, and all those other far-right billionaires who fund Cato, the American Enterprise Institute, all those other ultra-right-wing propaganda machines. I think that $77 million that Fox News claims is advertising revenue, I think it shows up as advertising money, but nobody is advertising on his show because it is an infomercial for fascism. So he's getting, I want to see the books. I don't believe he made money from legitimate advertisers because his audience, who would advertise to his audience? The only thing they're buying are guns, itching powder, or the idea that a Mexican stole their job and a black guy stole their wife. They're not buying anything. When I watched Tucker, all I saw were garbage ads selling garbage to garbage people. I want to see the books. I think the advertising money that they claim, I think they're just funneling money in from billionaires who want to, destroy the 99%. I don't believe Tucker Carlson made money from actual advertisers because you cannot make money selling crap to pieces of shit. And that's who watches Tucker Carlson, or did, pieces of shit. Well, it wasn't just Fox News that made headlines. On Monday, CNN also announced it was, quote, parting ways with Don Lemon. Yes, they're parting ways with Don Lemon. Fox News announced it was parting ways with Tucker Carlson, and CNN is parting ways with Don Lemon. They're parting ways. Excuse me for a second. I must go to the powder room and part ways with last night's pork roast. Parting ways. What's with this conscious uncoupling from saying what you really mean? Lemon and Tucker Carlson were fired. They were kicked out on their asses, thrown to the curb. Nobody parted ways with them. But this is how news organizations are talking, right? Today, a lone gunman parted ways with 15 school children. Folks, unless we outlaw fossil fuels, humans will soon be parting ways with the planet. Speak English. Don Lemon was fired on Monday, and CNN didn't part ways. They fired him. In a tweet immediately after his firing was announced, Don Lemon said he was the last person to know, kind of like anyone who got their news from him on CNN. Chris Licht, the new idiot in charge of CNN, probably decided to get rid of Lemon on Monday, right after he heard that Tucker Carlson was getting fired. Chris Licht probably figured everyone would be paying attention to the white nationalist on Fox getting what he deserved, and nobody would notice that CNN let go of an African-American member of the LGBTQ community who broke glass ceiling after glass ceiling. The only thing Chris Licht ever broke was CNN. It should be Chris Licht who is being fired, not Don Lemon. Chris Licht. Chris Licht was billed as the new Wunderkid over at CNN when he came there last year. He came from CBS and the Colbert Show. And yeah, he's turned out to be a regular Brandon Tartikoff if Brandon Tartikoff had zero talent, and instead of creating television shows, he just fired people. Hi, I'm Chris Licht. I attended broadcasting school at NYU and majored in letting people go. This effing idiot went to broadcasting school at NYU. What an immense talent. Going to NYU broadcasting school. You know, I can imagine one of Chris Licht's broadcasting professors back when Chris Licht was just a student. I can imagine the professor cornering Chris Licht after class and saying, you know, Chris Licht, you have a real knack for firing people. I see a bright future for you in television news. This guy took over CNN a year ago, and the only thing this piece of shit has created is unemployment. No, I'm cutting costs. Cutting costs is for losers. It's for people who can't make profits. It's for unoriginal minds like yours, Chris Licht. I'm gonna fire people instead of managing them properly to make hit television. I'll just fire everybody because I'm Chris Chainsaw Licht, who slashes costs by firing everyone. Really smart and creative. That's what they taught you at NYU Broadcasting School, you piece of shit. Chris, it doesn't take a genius to destroy things. Anyone can fire someone, and soon you'll find that out when anyone fires you. No, but I'm Chris Licht. I'm willing to make the tough decisions. No. Tough decisions are inventing actual shows for CNN that draw a large audience because they're informative. The easiest thing in the world is to do what Chris Licht is doing. It's firing people. Anyone can read a spreadsheet and fire someone. It takes someone with zero talent like Chris effing Licht. Chris Licht took over CNN. He had all these talented people working for him. And instead of, getting them in a room to create good television, he figures, I got it. I'll fire everyone. What a genius. What a genius. Why make original programming when you can just destroy people's careers and lives? CNN still turns a profit, by the way. Just not enough for Chris Licht. But I'm sure Chris Licht's mother is very proud, right? My son, the programming genius. You know Don Lemon? Well, my son, he came up with the idea of firing Don Lemon. We are so proud of him. Chris Licht, you should fire yourself. That's what you should do. Meanwhile, this troll, Jeff Shell, head of NBC Universal, had to resign on Monday after admitting to an improper sexual relationship. Look at this moron. Jeff Shell, head of NBC Universal, had to quit, was fired because of an improper sexual relationship. It's an improper sexual relationship when Jeff Shell jerks off. Look at this guy. Who at NBC Universal decided to make him the head of NBC Universal? This is the guy who greenlights movies and television? This is the guy. Look at him. He looks like every red herring on Law and Order Special Victims Unit. Doesn't he? He looks like every red herring on Law and Order Special Victims Unit. He looks like the guy they speak to first, and you're watching and you go, oh, he did it. Of course he did it. Look at the way he looks. He definitely did. And then, of course, it's the guest star. That's who was picking winners and losers for NBC Universal up until yesterday. A guy who looks like every red herring on Law and Order's Special Victims Unit. Yeah, I want to work for people like Jeff Shell because Hollywood is a glamour profession. Please like this video. Please share it with your friends. The only reason you're watching this right now is because a friend of yours copied and pasted the link and shared it with you. Please like the video. I read all your comments. I do. I read all the comments. And I've read them. There's a heart next to the comments. And please subscribe to this channel. I'm David Feldman, reminding you to stay strong and protect the weak.